The history of English and the first development of the national literary English language. A literary language is a form of a language used in the writing of the language. It is typically a dialect or standardized form of the language. It can sometimes differ noticeably from the various spoken forms of the language, but difference between literary and non-literary forms is greater in some languages than in others. Where there is a strong divergence between a written form and the spoken vernacular, the language is said to exhibit dyslexia. And the next, introduction of printing. In the New English period, and this is the introduction of printing in the 15th century, is considered the beginning of the New English period, and William Caxton is the first English printer. The first English book printed in 1475 was Caxton's translation of the story of Troy. And the next, the Restoration. Why is this time known as the Restoration period? The period begins with the restoration of the monarchy in 1660, bringing Charles II from his exile in France. The first brings with him the intelligent and artistic ways of Louis XIV's court, and the second, two distinct political parties resulted, the Whigs and the Tories. Whigs want to limit royal authority, and the Tories support absolute royal authority. And the next, the Renaissance. Key characteristics of Renaissance. Religious devotion of the Middle Ages gave way to interest in the human being's place on this earth. Humanism. To humanism, Bible and classics to teach how to live and rule. Universities introduced a new curriculum, the humanities, including history, geography, poetry, and languages. Invention of printing made books more available, and more writers began using the vernacular common language, English, Italian, and French. And the next, William Shakespeare. About William Shakespeare. Before Shakespeare's time, written English was, on the whole, not standardized. His works contributed significantly to the standardization of grammar, spelling, and vocabulary. And Shakespeare introduced 1,700 original words into the language, many of which we still use. And finally, Shakespeare had a profound impact on poetry and literature that has lasted centuries. He perfected blank verse, which became a standard in poetry. Because of the profound impact of Shakespeare's language on the way we speak today, studying the works of Shakespeare is an indissolable part of cultural education.